Hi students, welcome to another new session. In this video, you will get a detailed analysis on how to write a story. At first, we need to know what does a story mean. A story is basically a narrating of real or imaginary events involving real or imaginary people. A story is generally designed to entertain or send a message across. In this video, we will be focusing on the shorter format of the story and will take a look at the basic structure of the story as well as some points to keep in mind. Students, creative, imaginative, and effective short story writing in English is no doubt an artful task. That's why students are generally engrossed in with the questions like, Sir, how to write a good and interesting short story plot? How to write a story plan? How to write a creative story? And generally you will ask tips on how to write good short story. Students, writing a good short story requires a lot of techniques and planning. If you are searching for a place to get how to get better at writing stories, fortunately, you are on the right platform now. Just follow the slides and learn the art of story writing. In examination, you will get a small outline of a story and you have to elaborate the outlines keeping in mind certain points. So students, what do you mean by an outline of a story? The outline of a story describes a sequence of events with character in the form of points and short phrases. Here is an outline of a story. Just have a look at this outline. A king was defeated by his enemies 6 times. Hid himself in a cave. A spider failed 6 times to climb up the roof of the cave. It succeeded the 7th attempt. The king was inspired, fought against the enemies for the 7th time, became successful. So in this outline, students, you can find there is a gap in between the lines, and this gap indicates you need to fill this up by developing the plot and inserting new sentences. To develop a story from an outline, you need to understand and follow these 9 steps. Number 1, read the outline of the story carefully and understand what the story is all about. Number 2, provide a title to the story. Number 3, develop the points of the outline into complete sentences. The beginning should catch the reader's attention. Number 4, write the story in the past tense, even if the outline may be provided in the present tense. Follow the sequence in which the points are given. These points form the series of events in the story. Mind it, students, do not omit any part of the outline. Do not include unrelated or unnecessary events that may change the story. Include details to make the story enjoyable to read. Introduce dialogue or conversation to make the story engaging. So within these 9 points, the most important ones are, there must be a title to the story. The story must always be written in the past tense, even if the outline is there in the present tense. And the last one is, you should introduce some dialogue or conversation to make the story more engaging. Now let's have a look at what does a dialogue mean. What do we mean by conversation? Dialogue is a conversation between 2 or more people. The characters can also speak to themselves. It will help the reader know a character's inner thought, which will make the story interesting. So, a conversation means there must be two people and there must be some exchange of words between each other. But what do we mean by soliloquy? While using a dialogue or soliloquy, a soliloquy is a speech which is spoken to no one but oneself. When you yourself speak something, whether in anger or in excitement, it becomes soliloquy. In that case, we need to use direct speech. From the given outline, we will frame a story and we will get an example of soliloquy and the direct speech. Now let's have a clear idea about the characters of the story. The characters in the story may be people, animals, and sometimes even non-living things like clock, wall, doors, keyboards, who talk and behave like human beings. By introducing these characters, we make our story more interesting and more engaging. If we give the human attributes to the non-living things, and if we introduce a non-living thing as a character, and if they talk, then definitely our story becomes more engrossing and fascinating. Now we will frame the story with the given outline, and we will look into all the aspects which we need to keep in mind while writing a good story. The title of the story is The King and the Spider. There was a king who lost his kingdom being defeated by his enemies. He wished to regain his kingdom at any cost. He collected troops and made as many as 6 attempts to drive away the enemies. But by irony of fate, he was defeated each and every time. He then hid himself in a cave. One day, when he was lying in the cave in a pensive mood, he saw a spider trying to climb up the roof of the cave. But it failed 6 times and succeeded the 7th time. The king was inspired. He told himself, I need to try again instead of giving up. He fought against the enemies for the 7th time. This time he became successful and regained his lost kingdom. So what is the moral of this story? Perseverance paves way to success. So students, I hope you all have understood now how to frame a story. As practice, you will get some basic outlines which you need to make a story and send it to me. Thank you students. Stay safe. Bye-bye.